kilos at light flyweight. Another IBA Pro fight. Anvarzan KHODZHIEV of Kyrgyzstan. Boxed in the Pro Series in April, lost to Timurtas Yusupov. He's a very tidy fighter. Won the Stranger earlier this year, KHODZHIEV, so that gives you a good idea of what he's about. Didn't make it to Paris for the Olympics, lost in the final qualifier in Thailand, but has boxed at the World Championships, a Continental Under-22, so he's gained some good experience over the last few years. He's in the black and gold, boxing out of that black corner.
Дамы и господа, а сейчас приветствуйте на пути в золотой угол ринга, представляющий Армению, Baregham HARUTYUNYAN.
Another Armenian fighter making his way to the ring, Baregham HARUTYUNYAN. Experienced guy in his mid-30s these days. Won a silver at this year's European Championships in Belgrade. That's the biggest result of his career. Lost to the Russian Edmund Khordoyan in the final. Boxed at the World Championships in Tashkent last year. And like KHODZHIEV, had a tilt at the Olympic Games, but didn't manage to get there, also falling short in Bangkok. It's 6 rounds at 48 kilos, another IBA Pro Series fight. So another 6-rounder to come after this, then an 8, then a 10.
Господа, нас ожидают 6 раундов бокса в ринге боксера весовой категории до 48 килограммов. Боксеру в черном углу 22 года. Его рост 162 сантиметра, официальный вес 47,9 килограмма. Чемпион престижного турнира «Странжа», призер чемпионата Азии из Бишкека, Кыргызстан, Anvarzan KHODZHIEV. Его сопернику справа от меня в золотом углу ринга 35 лет. Его рост 171 сантиметр, а вес также 47,9 килограмма. Мастер спорта международного класса, призер чемпионата Европы 2024 года, представляющий Веди Армения, Baregham HARUTYUNYAN.
Good reception for HARUTYUNYAN, as you would expect. Luca Vadalonga, our referee.
Okay, guys, watch your head. No punches back, no low blow, no holding. Listen to my command. Touch your gloves, and good luck.
So you can see the height difference there. HARUTYUNYAN is tall for the weight. 1.71 m. And a big difference in age there too. The 35 HARUTYUNYAN is 13 years KHODZHIEV's senior. So Armenia against Kyrgyzstan. HARUTYUNYAN in the white, KHODZHIEV in the black. And it's HARUTYUNYAN who is immediately on the front foot. Boxing out of the orthodox stance, KHODZHIEV operating southpaw. And you can see the reach there on HARUTYUNYAN also. Does he have the tools to keep this on the outside? Is that the way that he fights, to try and keep this long? Because when you have two operators in there who have these different statures, then that's what you would expect the taller fighter to try and do. He's looking to try and pop the jab at the minute, HARUTYUNYAN. He's got to try and get past that, KHODZHIEV. But as he came in with a right hand there, HARUTYUNYAN, he just shut down his own space a bit. balance came forward over the top of that front foot slightly. The right foot, the back foot came round. So I'm not convinced he's going to make the absolute most of these natural advantages. It's not always the case that a fighter does. And Khodžhiev just sets his feet off the ropes there and throws back with some purpose for the first time, really. That's a good jab there from Khodžhiev. He's got nice quick hands. And he beat Harutyunyan to landing the punch, even though Harutyunyan pulled the trigger quite noticeably before he did. Just giving ground to the ropes there. Khodžhiev, he's trying to sucker Harutyunyan in. Moves in from the outside with the left hand. Again, that's a decent jab, and then he just slips off to his right-hand side. He's got that amateur trait of raising his glove when he feels that he's landed a scoring blow. Into the final minute of round one. Left hand into the body there from Khodžhiev. And it's an interesting matchup, this, because it's Harutyunyan who's, generally speaking, on the front foot. He's trying to walk Khodžhiev down. And he has landed with some punches, but Khodžhiev, to my mind, has picked the better punches in this opening round, but it's not that easy to score. And judges can tend to prefer, in rounds where it's hard to differentiate on accurate punching, they can tend to prefer the fighter who's more on the front foot. That is a good left hand. Again, just lands a couple in that combination, then dips low at the waist and finds a way out. When we're at that kind of range, although Harutyunyan scoring to the body there, that should suit Khodžhiev more, because it'll be difficult for Harutyunyan to get his arms free. Just dabs with his left eyebrow there. I think the heads might have come together at some point in that round, which wouldn't exactly be surprising, because Khodžhiev inevitably brings his in quite low because he's that much shorter, and Harutyunyan actually does dip quite low himself, stoops. He carries his own head quite low.
Второй раунд.
Back to orthodox. Khodžhiev, he can switch between stance quite effectively. Right hand there from Harutyunyan. Khodžhiev with a couple of push-ups as he's knocked down there. The crowd enjoyed that, as did the referee. Just fencing with the jab a bit there, Harutyunyan. Khodžhiev just sinking into the ropes a touch, waiting for an opportunity just to spring off and let that one go. He knows that he can't be too far out, Khodžhiev, or he's never going to reach with a counter. So he just has to judge it, stay just out of range of that jab. Good right hand there from Harutyunyan. And Khodžhiev's got good feet. Nice quick feet. There's that jab. He's sending that jab out quicker and bringing it back quicker in this round, Harutyunyan. He still brings it back quite low, but it's snapping out and coming back nice and quick. And that's key, because in that first round a couple of times, Khodžhiev waited for him to throw the jab, and as he saw it coming, just threw his own and landed first. Because there was a difference there in hand speed. Khodžhiev looking to try and lead off with that right hand. Midway through round two, Harutyunyan doing a better job, I think, of cutting off the ring in the second round than he did in the first. Left hand lands there from the Armenian. both of them just shutting down their own space a touch there. HARUTYUNYAN just flailing slightly. And KHODZHIEV with some good work there on the inside as HARUTYUNYAN came forward. Found his range well. And again, good footwork. He's an impish little fighter. Sprightly, just bounces off those toes at times when he needs to, but also when he's needed to. He's dug those toes in a bit and let his hands go. A similar round to the first one. I think HARUTYUNYAN did some good stuff in the first half of that round. Then in the second 90 seconds, KHODZHIEV was more to the fore. No one really landing there, the heads cracking together. In that exchange, it was KHODZHIEV who had the better of it.
Секунданты за ринг. Третий раунд.
Again, the battle of the jabs there. HARUTYUNYAN threw his, and as soon as he threw his, KHODZHIEV answered with his southpaw jab and landed first. And there he is, just on the borderline of range there, KHODZHIEV. He's just hanging his chin out every now and again, trusting those reflexes and his ability to counter HARUTYUNYAN due to that superior hand speed. Good left hand there from KHODZHIEV, and then rolls away underneath it. Referee just having a word with him about bringing that head in low. I know what Luka Vadalonga means there, because after he threw that left hand, he rolled off to his left hand side and he wasn't far away from HARUTYUNYAN, but given the height he is, there's not that much he can do about the head coming in low. That's good footwork again from KHODZHIEV. Just turned HARUTYUNYAN out of the corner. HARUTYUNYAN just sticking to his task here. For me, he just needs to throw that jab as often as he can and just try and make it land on something. KHODZHIEV is a slippery guy to try and catch to the head, but the way he stands quite square with those hands down, you can hit him to the chest and the shoulders. And if you can do that, you can make him offset and start again. You can make his life difficult. You can get on top of him that way, I think. You might need two phases of attack at times to drive him back and then drive him back to the ropes with the second. And it's easy from here, of course, but I don't think what you don't really want to do against someone like KHODZHIEV is just be looking for headshots all the time, because that is going to be hard. Into the final minute of round 3. That's a good jab, though. It was a jab that he turned into a hook, really, late on. HARUTYUNYAN there with the 1-2. He's slightly short with that. Just maybe needs to get those feet a touch closer, but that's where KHODZHIEV has been really good. He's kind of messed with that distance. Heading up towards the midway stage. Right hand into the body. That was a good shot there from HARUTYUNYAN. It's that kind of punch which I think he can land quite regularly. Jab, I think, did hit the shoulders, and then he turned off there, KHODZHIEV. And this is better pressure towards the end of the round here, I think, from HARUTYUNYAN. There goes the bell. There's not been loads in these first 3 rounds. HARUTYUNYAN likes that round. For me, it's been KHODZHIEV who's picked the better punches of the two, but as I say, the dynamic can play a part, and Harutyunyan has, from the beginning, right the way through to now, been the one on the front foot looking to step in and let his hands go, but it's all about interpreting dominance for the IBA judges, and dominance is achieved by landing punches, quite simply. But it's another good fight, this, another good match. The tightest fight we've had tonight so far. And stepping up and boxing in this IBA Pro Series takes these fighters beyond 3 rounds, of course. Which is not something that you get to experience in amateur boxing, not since the departure of the beloved WSB a few years ago, although it is, I hear, going to be returning. That was over the 5 3-minute rounds, and it certainly prepared fighters for the longer duration of pro boxing really, really well. It was a brilliant slipstream into the pros for so many top-level fighters. And what will be interesting in the second half of this is whether KHODZHIEV can sustain that fleetness of foot. The feints are good from KHODZHIEV because they just make Harutyunyan think. He'd thrown a couple of jabs there. He was inching closer. He was just about to throw another one. KHODZHIEV put him off with a feint and then threw his own. He almost has to just ignore the feints if he can, Harutyunyan, and just keep pressing the action. Get that front foot a bit closer if that's what he needs to do. And then let those hands go, find the target. Long right hand from Harutyunyan. The crowd liked it, but I'm not totally sure if it landed. Just short with the jab. Again there, Harutyunyan. KHODZHIEV immediately looking to take advantage of that. He's done that really well. He'll just keep those hands down. He'll trigger it. He'll look for it. He'll tempt you into it. Just pull back, make you fall short by a fraction, and then bounce off that back foot and look to land himself. Straight left hand, single left hand there from KHODZHIEV. Pierced the guard. Into the final minute of round 4, and all these rounds will be pretty similar from where I'm sitting. It's been a case of KHODZHIEV just picking the better punches, as he did again there. But there's 3 scoring judges at ringside, and those verdicts are the ones that will count. But the second half of this round in particular, I think KHODZHIEV has really landed some decent shots, some easy punches to see as well for those ringside officials. And it could be it's Harutyunyan out of the 2 of them who's beginning to slow down a touch. He gets cuffed by a nice jab on the way in there. Long right hand from Harutyunyan right at the end of the round does land. And there's that right hand at the end of the 3 minutes. He was just pulling back there, trying to get out of range, using that upper body, KHODZHIEV, and he got caught with that one. And that's what I mean about 2 phases of attack, really. If you could drive him onto the back foot, but keep your feet underneath you, then drive him back again. Even if the first time you don't really reach him, if you could drive him back again, then you might catch up with him. But what he's been good at as well, KGZ, is just turning around that front foot. He'll know against someone like Harutyunyan that he cannot afford to just go back in straight lines. We're in the 5th of 6 scheduled here. The home fighter, Artem Harutyunyan. Baregham HARUTYUNYAN, I beg your pardon. Artem Harutyunyan. There's another fighter of Armenian descent who was also a very good amateur. Harutyunyan's in the white, 35 years old, boxing in front of a home crowd. Anvarzan KHODZHIEV from Bishkek in Kyrgyzstan. Nice right hand on the inside there. Close up from Harutyunyan. Just stayed in. Three, 4 rounds. Difficult to say where the judges would have gone with it. I would have KHODZHIEV ahead. I say it's difficult because of that formula I've been mentioning right from the start, where I feel like KHODZHIEV has picked the better punches, boxing mainly off the back foot. But Harutyunyan has had success, and he's been the one looking to try and dictate terms, which does win favour often with some ringside judges. Long right hand from Harutyunyan and just pushes KHODZHIEV into the ropes, and I think the home fighter having a decent round in round 5. There's that left hand again from KHODZHIEV, and then just turns around that front foot, just pivots around that front foot and disappears off behind Harutyunyan. He lands a decent jab there. I think both of these two are feeling this. As I said, they're not used to a 6-round duration. KHODZHIEV almost looking out of the ring there, looking towards the corner. And it's been quite a stop-start this round. I would say that this is a Harutyunyan round. He's managed to just keep that tempo a little bit higher. Again, I don't think he's landed an awful lot all that clean, but I don't think KHODZHIEV has either. And KHODZHIEV, I think, might, out of the two of them, just be feeling this a little bit more, or maybe in that round he was looking to conserve a bit of energy. 1 to go here. 3 more fights coming your way after this. We've got Rafael Hovhannisyan up against Arturi Gogaberishvili. That's at cruiserweight, IBA cruiserweight, 86 kilos, 6 rounds. Then an 8-rounder at super heavyweight, 92 plus between David Chalian, the home fighter again, silver medalist at the 2021 World Championships, Paris Olympian. He's up against Taimur Khan of Pakistan. Then top of the card we have got Murat Gassiev up against Kem Lundqvist. 10 rounds at heavyweight. We've already seen a win for David Zukayev against Rakhmatullo Boymatov in our opening fight of the night. That was 6 at 86 kilos. And then in our last fight, Artur Bazian with a good win against Victor Vakula.
Финальный 6-й раунд.
So into the final round. Harutyunyan in the white, KHODZHIEV in the black. Back into orthodox here, KHODZHIEV. And he's creeping forward. He's looking to take the centre of the ring a little bit more here. Good lead left hook there from KHODZHIEV. Jab to the body from Khodžhiev, but a right hand to the body from HARUTYUNYAN. And he has gone down to that torso area a bit more as the fight has gone on. He's punching down because he's that much taller than Khodžhiev anyway. He'd be 4 inches taller than him probably. Much longer reach. But I feel like in these last couple of rounds, he's got to grips with things a little bit better, maybe because Khodžhiev's feet have slowed down a touch. Although Khodžhiev here just nice and quick across the ring. Slight change of dynamic from him. Maybe he feels he needs to try and boss things more in this final round. I think both corners would feel going into this final round that it's close. I don't think you can really tell your fighter anything else. And it is a bit scrappy. Into the final minute, and no one's really grabbed this round by the scruff of its neck. Looking to put some meat on the right hand there, Khodžhiev. Has set his feet for another one. HARUTYUNYAN swinging with his right, doesn't quite manage to land it, and still just something accurate, something really clean from either one of these two right towards the end of the round could be enough to take this one. Just setting his feet and swinging more in this round, Khodžhiev. I don't think he's really got it in the tank to do much more than that, to be honest. Rounds 5 and 6 he has really slowed down towards the end here, though. He just gives us a little shuffle, but that's not going to prove much to the judges. Right hand there from HARUTYUNYAN. The bell has gone, and embrace between the two. HARUTYUNYAN is confident. I would give him rounds 5 and 6, I reckon. The first 4, I thought Khodžhiev did the better work. I think this is going to be close. Again, it does depend really on what the judges see, how they interpret the work of these two fighters. I thought Khodžhiev picked some good punches off the back foot. I think he tired towards the end. And in the final round, I think went about things in a manner which didn't really suit him. It was quite different to how he did things for the rest of the fight. HARUTYUNYAN seems confident. It'll go to the cards and we shall see.
Дамы и господа, и прежде чем прозвучит имя победителя, ваши аплодисменты обоим боксерам! Итак, дамы и господа, в этом очень близком и ярком поединке единогласным решением судей победу по очкам одержал and your winner by unanimous decision from the black corner, Anvarzan.
Khodžhiev gets it by unanimous decision. I make that a good decision by the judges. I thought HARUTYUNYAN probably did have the best of rounds 5 and 6. But I thought before that it was Khodžhiev who picked the better punches. HARUTYUNYAN can't quite believe it, but I think the judges have got that one right. HARUTYUNYAN was coming forward, always hustling, bustling, looking aggressive, forcing the pace, but it was Khodžhiev in those first 4 especially who was the more accurate. Made his opponent fall short, countered him. You don't always get those decisions when you're the away fighter, so I give the judges credit there. In exchanges like that, he was coming off best. When those reflexes were on point, when that lateral movement was on point, the way he just hinges at the waist or tries to and just pulls back off punches. That worked well for the first 4 rounds. It deserted him a bit in the final 2 rounds, and when that happens, then all of a sudden things become different. And in the 6th round, he actually just fought a completely different fight. He looked to try and take the centre of the ring. He went orthodox rather than southpaw, and he looked to set his feet and let his hands go more. But you could see Harutyunyan absolutely expected to get that. He absolutely expected to get that. It didn't go his way tonight. But good sportsmanship all the same. He still looks pretty bemused.